Gente, 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 siamo in live. Voglio non so nemmeno io cosa voglio, ragazzi. Voi ora vi starete chiedendo: Samu, cosa sta succedendo? Tutto a posto? No! Non è per niente tutto a posto. Per niente è tutto a posto. Sta andando tutto male. Tutto male. C'è stato una sorta di non so nemmeno io cosa è successo. È cascato un fulmine davanti casa. Stavo per andare in live. Mi è preso uno di quegli infarti che sanno una sega ai jumpscare. Sanno una sega ai jumpscare. Mi son visto proprio illuminare davanti tutto. Ho visto sta striscia bianca cascare. Non so nemmeno io dove è andato a parare. Non lo so, ho visto sta striscia bianca cascare dal cielo. Io nulla, ho fatto un urlo, ho cacciato un urlo. Che ora ho il telefono in carica, se no vi facevo sentire perché, gente, io c'ho anche... Stavo facendo un vocale. E mentre ho fatto il vocale, per l'appunto, è cascato sto fulmine. Si è sentito... un mascello della Madonna. Vabbè. Ed è una sega, ragazzi. C'ho il cuore, mi fa male da quanto. C'ho il cuore, mi fa male. Senza indugio continuiamo la nostra exploration dello studio. La scorsa live è stata un po' filler. Oh, abbiamo già un commento, signori. Abbiamo già un commento che ora vado a pescare. Ok, eccolo qui. Samu, ma il fulmine. Ecco, sono fortunato con l'audio del fulmine. Già, sei stata fin troppo fortunata con quell'audio. Fin troppo fortunata. E vediamo un po' qua. There seems to be a little door hidden behind that curtain there. Samuele Ehi! È arrivato il momento di rimuovere questo commento. Perché il mio cognome non si può sapere. Perfetto. That leads to the storage room where Mr. Windybank keeps articles that are currently in pawn. No, aspetta. Raga! Oh, fermi tutti. Oh, un attimo. No, perché prima oh, grullaia. Oh, grullaia. Fermi tutti. Perché qui mi sa che, razzi, c'ho video 23.000 ed è una sega. Oh! Vabbè, GG, a quanto pare tipo in un mio video canale secondario, magari lascio dopo in descrizione, un video ha tipo raggiunto 23.000 views e GG. Bella roba. Vabbè, sti cazzi, non interessa a nessuno. Sto buttando via momenti della live, ma va bene così. Sì. Ragazzi, mi devo ancora riprendere. There's nothing on particular interest inside. I certainly wouldn't recommend any leisure activity. Recommended or not, it's not something I tend to do. There's something but one key, and Mr. Wendybank keeps it in his pocket at all times. Before he sleeps, he places it into a small spot, which he hides under his pillow. Oh, how on earth do you know about that, Mr. Sholmes? I'm a detective, sir. It is my business to know what others do not. I am frequently assailed by information that I neither care for nor wish to retain. Mr. Sholmes, you're a wonder. And the prime suspect if this pawn brokery is ever burgled. Beh, è vero. Allora qui non c'è nulla da guardargliene, a parte qui ah, ok. Look at that enormous ledger up open in the counter there. Aspetta, ma l'ha detto Shams o Susato? Non ho letto. Ah, Susato. Allora l'ho leggiuto bene. Mr. Wendy Bang, if nothing else, very particular about recording the items he accepts. Ora, per fortuna, anche se dovesse esserci un tuono mega galattico, ho il volume delle cuffie abbastanza alto, no? Perché tipo vedo ancora davanti a me il cielo che tipo sembra di stare in discoteca. He'd have to be, otherwise he'd get himself into all sorts of trouble. Which might explain the thing that catches my eye far more than the ledger. Oh, this revolver here. Do not entertain even a single thought of pilfering an article iron, my dear fellow. I assure you, Mr. Wendybank would not hesitate to draw the weapon with a speed belying his portly size. Oh, you don't mean he'd blow his brain out, indeed, in recompense for his blunder. Oh my. But in any case, of course we would never do such a thing. How could you even suggest it? Ok. Ah, l'orologio. Look at this. What could this lovely big shiny box be? That, my dear madame, is a music box. Surely you have such things in your own country. Oh my, yes. But I've certainly seen one so large before. Shall we listen in a while? Ah, what a sublime sound. It's like the music of angels. I've never heard anything like it before in my life. This particular specimen is of the larger variety, commonly found in public houses and restaurants. There is a metal disc inside on which the notes to be played are recorded. Simply by replacing the disc with another, any music you care to imagine can be played. My goodness, what a simply delightful machine. Indeed. Though their popularity was won recently with the development of the gramophone, of course. Science and technology advance at such an overwhelming pace. Ok, bella robina. What an assortment of things there are on these shelves here. Crockery, footwear, clocks and watches, almost anything you care to imagine. Those are 4 tied items offered to sale by the pawnbroker. What does that really mean, though? When you pawn or colloquially pop any item, the broker loans you money against its worth. He stores the item for an agreed period of time. La Madonna. Which the loan must be repaid. If not, he is free to display it in his shop for sale at a price of his choosing. Oh, yes, now you've explained it, I'm noticing a little price tags on everything. Of course, simply by paying the agreed interest of the loan, one can extend the period of safekeeping. So many pawn the black garb of yours without fear, my dear fellow. My treasured university uniform? Never! It embodies my student spirit. Bah, bella fea. Allora, qui mi sa che dovrei aver fatto Tutto, yes. Allora, qui vabbè, c'è da fare qui. Ah, qua. Let's go. Now, what do you suppose this... Ma sega, ma sta venendo giù il Cristo! Now, what do you suppose this rather enormous machine does? Ah ragazzi, se vedete la live si stacca o perché il router mi va a buttane o perché la luce, la corrente è andata via. Ma vi terrò aggiornati comunque. It seems to have these two little windows for his looking though through. No. To enlighten you, my dear fellows. What you are looking is a stereoscope. Uno stereoscopio. A is fascinating. It is aptly named, I assure you. Look through the eyepieces and see you for yourself. Oh, I should be delighted to. Excuse me for Dio buono. Excuse me a moment while I just have a look. Just before you do, there is something I should point out. My dear fellows, in order to see the image properly, stereoscopically, as it were, you will need to be cross-eyed. However, that is beyond you. It is a little of a little consequence today. Sì, ma non mi interessa tutto ciò, vabbè. Alright then, I'm going to try. Susie. Ah! Mr. Naruhodo, you must see, at once. Alright then. So I need to be cross-eyed, like I'm trying to look at my own nose. Fulmini. No, oggi non ci sono le scimmie, oggi ci sono i fulmini. Cazzo. What the... I don't believe it. Oddio, ma questa chi cazzo era? Ah, ok. Vabbè, no, mi pareva già di averla già vista, è una mia impressione allora. It's just a photographic print, but it seems like you could reach out and touch it. Yes. The sense of depth starts startling. It is not. Stereoscopes are one in London's many fads. They are often found in little stalls in the park. People query for hours to see them. Why? Why are people meddling with such blank magic? Bello il fulmine davanti casa. Mi sa che si dovrebbe sentire anche il rumore della pioggia. Ora sarà un sonnino zitto. Non so se si è sentito. Giulio, dammi la conferma in chat. It's no magic, my dear madame. It is, well, far too complicated to explain at present. We shall save this lesson for another day. Oh. Bello. Bello inutile. Tutto ciò. That's not a calendar you could early miss. Is it? 15 April. Today's date. Ah, mi è arrivata ora la notifica da Discord. Grande Discord. Today's date. Yes, that's not for sale, I must point out. It is a Eastern style page-a-day calendar. Every night at midnight I tear off the front page to reveal the following day's date. The perfect calendar for a tearaway fellow such as yourself, Mr. Wendy Bank. And who was it who walked out of where with the wrong violin before? Well, when the grid storage period has passed without repayment, articles are forfeited, you see. So I have to keep a close eye on the date It's something of a pawnbroker obsession, you might say. Oh, yes. I can see you're very dedicated to your job. Che mi sa che si è fatto tutto. Sei è arrivato il momento di spostarsi a Baker Street. E esaminiamo Baker Street. Che due coglioni. Tanto mi sa che per fortuna c'è solo da esaminare questo e ah, ma è proprio accanto a casa, a quanto pare. Bella roba. Qui no? No, bella roba. Look at the different things in the window of this shop. Ah, that's Wendy Banks, the pawnbrokery. Ma ci siamo appena stati! Ma che It looks much smarter than a pawnbrokers in Japan, doesn't it? Yes, you're right. I find pawn shop at home rather inapproachable, personally. It reminds me of a tearfully parting with my favorite fountain pen. I felt so miserable. What doesn't kill us make us stronger, Mr. Naruhodo? No. No. Accidenta alla tua verga. Via. It's already been 2 months since we started taking lodgings above Mr. Shum's office. I still can't quite believe it. I never expected things would turn out like this. Oh, I know! To actually be sharing accommodation with the world's greatest detective. If I ever find myself before a court of law now, I will have not one regret. I don't know what you're talking about, but I'd be happy to defend you, of course. Ok, si è fatto tutto. Per fortuna abbiamo fatto tutto, quindi rispostiamoci nella Sholmes suit qua. Ah, ok, allora no, ho sbagliato. Allora mi sa che Naruhodo, eccolo qua. Proprio che bisognava andare. Ah no. What to do a sto punto? Can it really be? We've been in Great Britain for 2 months already? Yes. It's gone by in a flash, hasn't it? And what an English gentleman You trailed off there, Susato-san. I'm so sorry. When I thought I realized it's all true, actually. I simply don't feel that any Britishness has all really rubbed off on you. Nor you, to be honest. Well, that's obviously because... Yes, I know, without... it almost... certainly stands out. I do adore the attire of English ladies. It's quite delightful. Tranquilla Susato, nel secondo gioco ti cambio ogni bene, ti cambio la skin. La skin che mi hanno dato nel preordine del gioco, tranquilla. But somehow, I just don't feel ready to abandon my Japanese dress just yet. I wonder how Susato-san will look in Western clothes. That would be interesting to see. Allora, è arrivato il momento di abbandonare un attimo la storia. La prima volta lo faccio in 13 live, perché vi volevo far vedere una cosuccia. Vabbè dai, stiazzi, lo risalviamo tanto. Allora, eccoci qua. Perché se ora vado tipo negli special contents e se vado in Taylor, dovrà avere tipo questo coso molto carino. In realtà poi mi fa abbastanza un po' cacare. Poi c'è questo qui, guardate com'è carina. È un botto carina a questa maniera. Susato Hotoba. Però vedete c'è scritto outfits are only available for use in The Great Saturday 2. Invece lui è veramente orribile così. Credo proprio lo lascerò a questa maniera. Però lui, vabbè, lo lascio, lo metto sì perché ci sta. Poi tipo da quello ho capito, auditorium, voice recitals. No, Dio buono. Aspetta, quindi unused. Eccolo. Bellina questa. Beh, ci credo non l'abbiano usato. Ok. Bellino questo. Ah. Cat and violin. Ah, ho capito.
Naruhodo-san, I never imagined I would witness one of Mr. Sholmes' great deductions with my own eyes. Nothing can deceive Mr. Sholmes. In a single glance, he can deduce all there is to know about a person. It's quite true. I've read about it countless times in the adventures of Sherlock Sholmes, and now I've experienced the astonishing impact of his art firsthand. It really is a dream come true.
Ammazzati. Bellina comunque, vedi, tipo... a me mi dispiace perché l'objection di Runoso che non è bello potente. Peccato.
I'm sure everyone knows by now who it is.
Questo è bellissimo.
I mean, the defense demands its right to a cross-examination. Inconsistency, sir. I mean, yes, there's a clear inconsistency here.
Hold it! Susato Mikotoba, judicial assistant to the defense.
Dio buono, è troppo ad adulta la voce.
Objection!
No, ma non l'ha mai detto objection lui.
So everyone, let us begin. Sherlock Sholmes is proud to present his logic and reasoning spectacular.
Objection! It's a great pleasure to meet you both. My name is Iris Wilson.
Ah, vedi.
The tea's brewed.
Objection! I have faith in you.
No, non avevo letto della... mi ero messa a ridere perché mi ha fatto ridere il fatto che lui fa objection perché poi muore, no? Io mi sono messo a ridere, poi ho fatto questo e sono messo a ridere e poi per questo.
Objection!
Objection!
Quintessential look of a sacrificial lamb.
La sega, quanto cazzo è potente.
Are a truly fascinating breed.
Vabbè, via, dopo aver fatto delle stronzate. Bella risata, è una fistia. Continuiamo la nostra avventura in The Great Saturday Chronicles. Però, accidente a quella bestia maledetta immonde. Io, che cazzo fa perché ho fatto ogni bene, ma eppure un po' so pagliene una sega. Via, ci spostiamo qui. Nulla, via. E mo? Examine, ho bello esaminato ogni bene. No, no signori, no. No, ma Dio bonino. No, stai zitto. Zitti tutti. Boh, come si va avanti mo? Con lui ho belle parlato di tutto. Non posso nemmeno fare il present anything. Non è che manca da esaminare qualcosa che non so. Qui no. Qui no. Qui no. Qui no. Qui nemmeno qui no. Mancava seriamente questo. Ma porca. Look at this. Whatever could it be used for? I have no idea. Oh. Cosa ha? There's a small catch just here, look. Puntini, puntini. We are going to open it, aren't we? Oh my! Ah, era lei, vabbè. Oh my, that's amazing. It has it has some sort of spring-loaded mechanism, which we'll never manage to put back to the way it was before. Oh, aspetta, piglio l'acqua. Eccoci qua, via. What are you two doing? What? Us? Nothing. No, nothing at all. Whatever this device is, it seems to have a pair of little windows to look through. I feel as though I've seen something, porca. What? Only tuppence for it? It's a fur, and you know it. The article is barely worth a penny, miss. I cannot assume. I cannot offer more. Sounds like there's an argument brewing over the counter. Come on, that can't be right. Have you haven't had a proper butcher at it? I've seen I need to see, young girl. È una donna, ma porca. E non sapevo voce fare, sicché boh, ho fatto una voce a caso. Ma guarda un po' chi si rivede. What? Don't we know? I'm sure I recognize her. Oh, yes. It's the young lady from Mr. McGuire's trial 2 months ago. Rondo. Grande. Her name is Gina Lestrade, my lord. She's a censor, and her trust among large crowds, riling people over purses. What are commonly called a pickpocket. Sì, bonk. È lei o non è lei? Good Bennett. You lot. Hello, Miss Lestrade. I hope you've been well. What? Remember me then? Do ya? Well, I remember being completely surrounded by smoke. That's for sure. So, what are you doing here? Down and down like the rest of us? Nothing to it? Come to pop the black vessel? Sorry, coat, have ya? What is it about this black uniform that makes everyone comment on it? Good day. Unless I'm much mistaken. You wouldn't be the young pickpocket who stole our experimental smoke grenade launcher? Mr. Sholmes. So, have you something of value to pawn, do you? Allow me to see the article, and I shall negotiate with Mr. Wendybank on your behalf. Pull the other one. I don't need to help for some stuck-up D. Get out of my business. Go on, or I'll make trouble for ya. As you wish, Miss Lestrade. I will happily remove myself from your presence. No. Here's really done it. He's gone.
I'm so sorry. But I said there really is no room for negotiation here.
What is the thing he has in his hand? Some kind of metal disc? Oh, and you, go on, leave me alone. Oh, Miss Linstrate, just pretend aren't we? We aren't here. We shan't after the slightest. Susato-san can really stand her ground when she wants to. Whatever. Ah, ci posso pure parlare, mo. Ma porca. Somehow, I didn't really think you were the sort of person who'd use a pawnbroker, Miss Lestrade. Yeah, well, I am, alright? I'm a Londoner just like everyone else. That's a problem, right? It is it? No, not at all. It's just that, well... Oh, I get it. You know what you're thinking. Ma Dio me parla male. That thing probably don't even belong to her. Probably got it on the dive, didn't she? Yeah, I can see it written all over, yeah. Your Chevy Chase. Well, I might have been thinking something along those lines. You're not going to deny it, Mr. Naruhodo? Alright then, I'm just going to come out and ask you straight. Do you pawn these things? The things you steal from other people? Well, I don't know who's best answer yet that, really. Suppose, sometimes. Ok, cioè quindi in sostanza se ruba e poi porta la roba rubata dal pawnbroker. Da sega è cielo nero! Mamma mia, in genere quando piove se ne va via il nero, ma ora è ancora più nero di prima. You're not going to deny it either, Miss Landstraight. But not this time, alright? I swear. The things belongs to me. The disc that Mr. Wendybank is holding. Perhaps we should see what he has to say about all this. Quindi bisogna andare da lui. Perché è tutto vuoto adesso? Vabbè, non mi interessa. Mr. Wendybank, what exactly is this metal disc that Miss Lestrade has brought in? It seems to have hundreds of tiny little bumps on its surface.
This is a music disc, you see. It's for use inside a music box.
In a music box? What? You don't even know what a music box is? You Western lot ain't savvy, huh? I know what a music box is. I've never seen one of these discs before.
The smaller protrusions on the metal disc encode the tune to be played by the music box. You simply insert the disc and set the machine going, and beautiful music plays.
It's so incredible! Tell us, what tune on this disc is on this disc?
Well, I'm afraid I couldn't tell you that. There are so many different books, you see. British made, German, Swiss. I have no way of knowing which particular machine this disc was made for.
I see.
And that's it in a nutshell. I wouldn't have any customers for an item like this. Even the young lady forfeited it. Really, I'm already offering more than I should have paid it a penny.
That's a pocket all lines. He told me. It did. He said it was, well...
He? Who?
Never you mind. It just ain't right. That's all. The disc's worth good money. I know it is.
Well then, you'll have to try our luck. Your luck at another pawnbroker's, won't you?
Huh?
She's been in before, of course. This little traitor, the lion. I see. Had brought some dubious article on other with her every single time, I might add.
Dubious? What are you trying to say? I'm honest. I'm an honest customer, me.
So
Is there something dubious about the disc she brought in today?
well, if only it were that simple.
Sorry? What do you mean?
What she actually brought was a storage ticket.
Oh, a storage ticket. So... Miss Lestrade has actually come to redeem an article from you today. Isn't that right?
Yeah, that's right. A girl like me has a lot of stuff what needs storing.
Alright, yes. That's definitely dubious.
The article in question would have been forfeited at midnight tonight. But she gave me the ticket for it, and repaid both the loan and the interest. I was obligated to return the article to her.
But what was the article? Do tell us, Mr. Wendy Bank.
The little scamp is wearing it, madam.
Ok, quindi Ok, it's the overcoat.
It's the overcoat she redeemed.
Oh.
What? What's wrong with that? It fits, don't it? I mean, it's mine. So, course it does.
So, what about the disc then? How does that came into all this?
The disc is something else. A new article to pawn if the girl and I can agree a price.
Ok, parliamo di questo new article. I'm confused. I thought you said that Miss Lestrade brought in a storage ticket today.
It's really quite simple. Yes, the child brought me a storage ticket and the money owned on it, as you say.
Prova a capire quanti anni c'ha questa figliola. Ah, 17. Susato?
Susato a 16 anni?
Ah! Cazzo! Sholmes ne ha 34. Vabbè, la Iris ne ha di 10. Pop Windy Bank. Vabbè.
Yes, the child, sì.
For this heavy black coat, which returned to her care, as I'd understood it.
That's right, yes. And rather unsurprisingly, as soon as the little ragamuffin put the thing on, sling through the pockets.
Oh, you mean...
What? Don't you think it's rude to stare at a lady? Ah, I see. So it came from the pocket of the overcoat, did it?
Do you mean this disc? Then yes, exactly, madame.
And she immediately tried to pawn it.
For a quite a high price as well. This is rather suspicious, I think. Ah, ok, l'ha detto lui, vabbè.
Give it up. I'm just trying to pound something like anyone else would.
Miss Lestrade, may I ask who deposited the overcoat here in the first place?
Well, me.
It doesn't really appear to be your size.
Me old man. It's me old man, ain't it?
It is Miss Lestrade? Yes, this is definitely all rather suspicious. Dai, ma perché tutta sta roba? Ma non mi interessa. Out of my way, please. Chi è adesso? Ah, ok. Lui sembra un po' finocchio. Quindi gli fa la voce da finocchio. Sì, sì, ho deciso. Lui è proprio. Lui c'ha proprio la faccia a finocchio. Guardate! Guardatelo! Sembra un cavolo di finocchio. Oh! Who's this picture postcard English gentleman? Good day to you, ladies, gentlemen.
What's your problem, huh?
There is no problem as long as you remove yourself. I have a matter to discuss with the proprietor. And if you intend to make a problem of it, I shall see you outside, little girl, for the hiding you deserve.
Look, ain't it obvious? I don't take you talking with him yet. You think you're such a gent, you should know how to wait in line.
Well, you're impudent little brat, aren't you? As well as a pickpocket.
Huh? Who are you? How do you know who I am?
The question is, how do you not know who I am? Ma ho sbagliato, vabbè. You haven't the courtesy even to remember the faces of your victims, it seems.
What? You mean from you?
Broker. Yes, sir. I believe this filthy pocket thief has just redeemed the article from you, no? Yes. The article in question belongs to me. I demand it to be returned at once.
Oh my. Now that's a lie. What are you trying to pull?
Give me back my overcoat, you wastrel, and needless to say, any music box discs too.
No, you can't have it. You just can't. It's me old man's. Or it was. Now it's mine.
Goodness, Mr. Naruhodo. Quante voci! Dio mio, mi sento così incasinato. This is a very awkward situation. Yes. I think perhaps we should hear both sides of the story in a little more detail. Ma basta! Ma chi se ne frega! Ma non mi interessa! Non mi interessa tutto ciò! Dio buono! Miss Lestrade, is what the gentleman is trying...
What do you think? It's all lies, ain't it? Obviously. I swear on my life, I ain't never laid eyes on that dandy before.
Let's hear it now, you little ragamuffin. You stole it, didn't you? The ticket you brought in here just now.
No, I swear it. I swear to God.
It was barely an hour ago. I was walking along the street, minding my own business,
When this little guttering ran into me, I knew at once what had happened. I've been robbed yet again. I thought to myself, those wretched pickpockets. Yet again?
Yet again?
Oh yes. As you can see, I'm a man of impeccable style. This isn't the first time I've been targeted by these black slum scoundrels.
Oi oi.
Now then, relinquish my overcoat.
Come along now, Miss Lestrade. Give the good gentleman his coat back. If you're going to cause trouble, I shall have no choice but to call the police.
Hold on. Why everyone think it's me? Just get the standy coat. And you think I'm the dodgy one?
I'm sorry, but no one's going to believe you.
Well, what about evidence? Yeah. Where's the evidence that I've stolen something, huh? Come on, let's see it. Oh, I have evidence, naturally. You what?
Evidence? No, Dio. Ma porca di quella. Si può, cioè tipo... Ah, ma Dio buono. Tanto vediamo se qualcuno... No, non ha scritto nessuno. E non c'è, mi sa nemmeno nessuno in live. Vabbè. Pazienza. Da quant'è che ora siamo in live? Un'oretta più o meno? Sì, 46 minuti più o meno, sì. Dai, voglio finirgliene.
Come on.
Olè, via. Ole, evidence. Evidence that the article Miss Lestrade redeemed actually belongs to this gentleman.
Of course. We need only to consult Mr. Wendybank's ledger to know the truth. We'll be able to look up the name of the person who deposited the article in the first place.
Yes! Brilliant!
I'm very sorry, but I'm afraid that won't be possible.
Oh!
I never ask customers' names. That's a strict policy of mine.
But why not?
Well now, as you can imagine, some of my customers have circumstances to consider. A great many of them prefer to maintain their anonymity.
Yes, I see. But then, how can you know if any article belongs to the person asking to redeem it?
Oh, it's quite simple. Good sir. Might I trouble you the watchlord associated with the article in question?
Of course. It's...
Professor.
Yes, that's right. And all the evidence we need. This gentleman is the rightful owner of the article, without doubt.
A watchword? Interesting. Allora, un attimo che prima di andare avanti voglio vedere che c'ha da di sto finocchio. Excuse me, but who are you?
One would expect the enquirer to introduce himself first. Though clearly you're not British, so perhaps our ways are foreign to you.
Oh, sorry. Yes, we are from the Empire of Japan. We're studying here.
Oh yes, Japan. I've heard talk of the place. Ma che fa? Its inhabitants live on some fiery, brown-colored soup, dressed up with exotic spices. You might be thinking of somewhere else. And what is the theatrical gestuation about? Perhaps, anyway. If you are a gentleman, sir, you offer your own name first before inquiring after the name of another. Of course, yes, I am Ryunosuke Naruhodo. I'm a lawyer. Well, a student of law, really. My name is Susato Mikotoba. I'm Mr. Naruhodo's assistant. I see. My name is Benedict. Yes, Eggert Benedict. Enchanté. Enchanté. Che fino. He's so refined in how he holds himself and how he speaks, but that name is suspicious. No, the matter at hand. My overcoat. Return it at once to someone with the style to carry it off.
Huh? Every move he makes, every breath he takes. I can't stand watching him.
Non posso dire nulla perché siamo in live su YouTube. Vabbè che non c'è nessuno però. Insomma. So, about these watchwords, Mr. Wendybank. As I just explained, I never ask customers' names when they deposit items with me. There are many reasons why certain customers would like to keep their activities secret. Ma porca. That wasn't exactly a subtle glance at Mr. Shums now. What was it?
Great detectives have no dark secrets. Not at all.
Yes, well, anyway, that's why I always ask for a watchword whenever I accept a new article. In many ways, it's the secret combination of numbers to unlock a vault. The date of deposit, a description, and watchword uniquely identify each item. And of course, I gave the storage ticket to the customer. When someone comes to redeem something, I ask for the ticket and the watchword. And if that someone tells you the correct watchword, you return the article? That's right, sir, yes. Just as soon as the requisite fee is paid.
I have supplied you with the information you require already, but the avoidance of doubt.
The article in question is overcoat, deposited 2 months ago on 5th February.
With a watchword of Professor.
All perfectly correct information, sir.
But how?
Really? This is beyond the joke now. There is no further room for doubt.
Huh?
So, let that be the end of the matter. And thank you for the custom, Mr. Eggert Benedict, sir.
Mamma mia.
With such reasonable rates of interest, I may even decide to come back.
That's why I hate grown-ups. Just cause I'm a diver, everyone thinks me a liar. and the context of the good buckets, if you please, Barocker.
But of course, sir. Here's the disc for you.
But just this one?
Pardon, sir?
I was expecting another. That is, I deposited another.
Another disc?
Oh dear. I regret to inform you, sir, that was deposited with me was merely with the overcoat. The disc happened to be in one of the pockets, but I was completely unaware of it until now.
So, Guttling, you're hiding more of what's rightfully mine, aren't you? Say so, huh? I don't know nothing about it.
Very well. Then I shall bid you farewell. Say goodbye to style.
Wait a minute. What? That disc is mine.
Oh, what? What do you think? What do you think you're doing, you little tramp? You've drawn blood. You filthy animal.
Oh my, there's blood on the disc.
It's because all of those sharp bumps.
The man must have stretched his finger on his them. I found it first. All right, I mean, it belonged to me, old man. So you're no having it. Oi, you take it.
Me?
If I go on to it, they'll have it off me again, so keep hold of it.
Miss Lenstrade, why is this desk so important to her? The music box has happened to, and the hunter has been entered to the court record.
You there, in the blank library. Hand the disc to me at once, please. No, don't! He's lying! Grown-ups are liars!
What do you do now? How am I going to resolve this? Però voglio confermare una cosa. Ma lui è davvero lì, ma non ci voglio credere. Mr. Sholmes, what are you examining with such keen interest there? As you enjoy a bar of caramel, I see.
So, you found me at last, Mr. Naruhodo.
Sorry?
After that young pickpocket sent me on my way, I was forced to lock in the shadows. Cruelly ostraced as the rest of your patrook in the jovial atmosphere of fellowship.
I had nothing to
occupy my mind, but was too ashamed to let society see what my downfall had done to me. So, feigning mocking interest, I pretend to examine the tedious trinkets in this desolate place. Whilst, as you shrewdly observed, groaning, groaning, and on the only friend I have left, the 7% solution of caramel.
Pray, do you claim to understand the depths of my despair, Mr. Naruhodo? But how could you? I was so lonely, so desperately lonely. Then why on earth didn't you rejoin the conversation? Things have gone from bad to worse here, you know. Yes, I overwhelmed much of your conversation. Or rather, my craving for human contact, my years devoured onward was
uttered.
You really were sad, weren't you?
Poor Mr. Sholmes, if I feel simply awful for you.
It would seem that my inferences are correct.
Surely, you're not about to tell us that you've solved the entire case once again?
Madame, sometimes I wonder where my genius for the deduction to become most. How much could I pawn it for? It seems Mr. Sholmes has had another of his flashes of inspiration. Allora, è arrivato il momento, prima di tutto, di esaminare questo hortel. Ah, tanto qua c'è di sangue e si va a esaminargliene. Look at the little bumps on the disc. They're so tiny.
Yes, the protrusions are called pins, and they pluck the teeth before the comb to make notes. And just at the edge, there's a small amount of blood.
Yes, the blood of the mysterious Mr. Eggert Benedict.
When Miss Lestrade tried to grab the disc from him, the pins scratched his fingers, it seems. Like when you're grating some daikon radish and accidentally catch your finger. Ouch! Just thinking about it, it hurts and puts me off eating radish.
Ah, ok, invece c'è scritto Mr. McGilded. Chi era Mr. McGild?
Ah, ma non è quello che è Ma Mr. McGilded è quello che è morto nel terzo caso.
Porca Eva! Ma è ritornato! Fra!
Oh, there's a little scrap of paper stuck onto the reverse side of the disc, look. And a scribbled word of two. It looks like somebody's name.
For McGilded. McGilded?
It couldn't be. But it is, Mr. Naruhodo. A name I shall never forget as long as I live.
But why? Why this name on this? The music box disc information has been updated in the court record. It seems Mr. Sholmes has another of his flashes inspiration. But who knows if it will help to resolve the situation between Miss Lestrade and the mysterious gentleman. What's the right thinking to do here? Allora, per ora lasciamolo lì. I don't know. Mr. Sholmes starts up with wild rebellion. The flames, I would say, to try something else. Mr. Naruhodo, what are you saying? Such... Ma volevo un attimo sentire le altre opinioni, ma porca Eva.
That's what I'm worried about. We don't need any more cats around here.
Dear me, you seem decidedly agitated. Clearly, I shall have to take reins.
Yes, please do, Mr. Sholmes.
It looks like we're going to hear this deduction, whether I like it or not. Via! Well, Miss Lestrade, it would appear you find yourself in something of a predicament.
Sir! Where the blue blades have you been, sir?
Pardon?
When a lady's trouble, a true chance posed to be here there to help straight away, not an hour later.
Harsh.
And who, pray tell, are you? Huh. Mr. Eckert Benedict. You have, in my eyes, veritable encyclopedic array of curiosities about your person. Nevertheless, there are two immovable conclusions I have drawn. I beg your pardon? The first is this. The true reason for you to visit the pawnbroker today is something you have not yet revealed. And the second is this. A considerable crime is in contemplation. One you will orchestrate with intent to steal a vast sum of money. Well, Mr. Benedict, what to say to do? What to say you to make deductions? How? He's turned a white as a charred, hard-boiled egg. It would seem once again Mr. Sholmes has made a flawless deduction. Just who do you think you are, sir? Ah, yes, I hoped. That is precisely the pained expression I was looking for. Via, non ditemi che si ricomincia con. So, shall we begin? The time has come to yet another Sherlock Holmes logic and reasoning spectacular. No! 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 Via. The game is afoot. Mystery man's aim. First of all, we must ask ourselves what business you ventured to the pawnbrokery today. You claim to have followed the pickpocketer, having had the redemption ticket stolen from you on the street. But that is mustn't certainly a lie. The real truth is something quite different. As revealed by the witch, that which you hold in your hand. Yes, what brought to this shop in the very first place is a staff recruitment flyer. Che è una stronzata. The piece of paper in your hand is a staff wanted advertisement for this very shop. Yet even the most unobservant would soon realize that a man of your appearance has no need of such employ. In other words, there is some ulterior motive for your actions. The cane you can unwittingly clutch to your person exhibits an unconvertible contradiction. What a rot! I've had this cane for years. The contradiction which you speak of course is the missing ferrule. The end of any walking cane would be would be terminated with a material ferrule to protect the wooden tip. And yet, the detailed analysis shows the wooden tip of the stake to be utterly bare. Therefore, there is only one conclusion. The root you had that you hold in your hand, which appears to be the walking cane, is in fact no cane at all. Do you recall, sir? Is something wrong? And in your recoiling, you unevidently facilitate the answer of the next conundrum to present itself. Namely, what is the truth behind the rod you bear? Yes,
Direction betrays the truth. The handle, which you eventually would like to conceal, is the key to understanding this riddle, you see. From the moment I saw it, my suspicions were aroused. What walking cane demands such a stout handle? Mused I. But of course, as I said, this is no walking cane. No, that's right. Ah, it's the broken handle of a shovel.
What? Are you insane?
And now, having determined this undeniable truth, the conclusion is clear. Your true motive for coming here was to take employment at this establishment in order to excavate the ground beneath the premises. What a calculated crime you have conceived, sir. A wickedly calculated crime. To tunnel underneath the power and brokery. È un po' una cazzata, ovviamente. Cioè che poi no, la cosa bella è che Sholmes le cose le dice anche bene, però sono sbagliate le conclusioni che fa. È tutto sbagliato. Now, Mr. Benedict, let us continue. For we must expose the details on this elaborated crime you have in the planning. This is utterly absurd. You suggest that I, a gentleman, intend to excavate the little ground on this ground beneath the pawnbrokery with a broken shovel? What on earth do you propose I could expect to find there? Some... Manda attraverso la saliva, razzi. Oi oi, oi oi, oi oi. Some long forgotten treasure, suppose? For such a fanciful theory. No. What possible reason could I have to do, as you say? Oh, but there is an ample reason. As you are only too aware, Mr. Benedict, and your furtive glance is more telling than I could ever hoped. What? Let us consider what would motivate a man to infiltrate a shop such as this covertly dig beneath its floor. The answer is revealed by the... Ragazzi, non so se sentite la sveglia, ma torno tra 2 minuti, perché signori e signori, sono le 7 e devo mandare la foto a Gabriele del fatto che sono le 7. Torno tra adesso praticamente. Olè! Ci siamo, siamo retourné. The answer is revealed by the constant note on the counter to which your eyes are inevitably drawn. This letter gives notice of a public works to be carried out in the local area. And according to the enclosed plan of the upcoming sewage works. Beneath the shops runs a sewer and adjoins another, one that runs under the blank on the opposite side of the road. Mamma mia, non ce la fa più, sono già distrutto, eppure oggi ho fatto molto meno, ho fatto un'ora e 16 praticamente e sono veramente distrutto, ragazzi. Boh, vabbè. This madness has entered the sewers now, has it? By excavating the ground beneath our feet, you would gain access to the waterway that flows very close to the proximity to the great vault of the financial institution opposite. What are you? In summary, sir, you deceived a master plan to pull off an elaborate blank robbery by dint of underground tunnels. Master plan? Which brings us to the last final chapter on this lyric scheme. With that plunder did the thief hope to make off from the underground vault on the blank. Are you quite serious? Having consulted with the Scotland Yard some days ago, I happen to know the answer. So naturally, the answer is no secret to you, is it, Mr. Benedict? I have no idea what you're talking about. Allow me to present a rather interesting piece of evidence. Ragazzi, questo comunque per ora è veramente uno dei miei giochi di Saturn preferiti, sono il mio preferito. Cioè, Dio, proprio è stupendo, è stupendo. You see, this picture postcard tell us all we need to know. A postcard of the Great Exhibition? I'm afraid you've quite lost me. Currently in the final stage of preparation, the Great Exhibition will soon be underway. And the government have provided extra funds to complete its centerpiece, the Crystal Tower. Funds that's currently selling in the vault in the blank on the other side of the road. Pardon? Yes, the considerable crime you have been contemplating is the theft which sits in the vault of that bank. The special, sir, reserve fund for the Great Exhibition. Of course, this is top secret police information, so keep it under your hat, please. To steal the Greatest Exhibition Reserve Funds. No, ma sei un grullo. Ma è palesemente una stronzata, vabbè. This concludes Sherlock Holmes' great deduction of bone-breaking puzzle. Olè, via. Mr. Holmes. Well, Mr. Orlando, an impressively upbeat deduction for a detective wrecked with loneliness, would you not agree? Was it true that you said about the bank over the road and what is in its vault? Indeed. Though if you know of its existence, it is one of the government's most closely guarded secrets. Garrison told me, as the secretest confidence. But you just announced it to everyone here. Rather loudly, in fact. And if it's such a big secret, How would Mr. Benedict have to find out about it? There could be one explanation of that. Clearly, it's because this man is a criminal.
But what if he didn't know anything about the money in the vault? If he's a criminal, as you said,
Then buying a brand new shovel to be sure to be the first thing he doesn't know that you've revealed the secret. Oh. Or if he doesn't, maybe Mr. Windybank will. He'll already has plenty in shovels here after all.
Oh my life, I assure you, I'm not so unscrupulous.
Well, hopefully this has taught you a valuable lesson. Sensitive information must be handled with the utmost of care. Come si para il culo questo qua. One can never be sure that someone privy to secrets won't disclose them. And once the word is out, it's out. Perhaps I'll think twice before confiding you in next time, Mr. Sholmes. An excellent idea, Mr. Naruto. An excellent idea.
well then, Mr. Naruto, you know what to do, I'm sure.
Yes, let's listen to the great deduction again and see if we can massage into the shape. Very well then. Let us start once from the beginning of the Sherlock Holmes' magnificent logic and reasoning spectacular. Course correction. Hold it, Mr. Holmes. Allora, vediamo un po'. First of all, we must ask ourselves what business you've entered from the pawnbrokery today. You claim to have followed this pickpocket here, having had the redemption of the ticket stolen from you on the street. But that is most certainly a lie. The real truth is something quite different. As revealed by the witch, but that which you hold in your hand. Yes, that brought you the first place, the staff recruitment flyer. So, by Mr. Sholmes' reasoning, Mr. Benedict came here in order to happily for a job he could dig down through the floor.
Yes, in an attempt to the tunnel into the sewers to gain access to the money in the vault bank across the road. But he wouldn't get very far with a broken shovel, wouldn't he?
No, I think it's fair to say its motives elsewhere. The question is, where? What did Mr. Benedict here at this particular point in time? Allora, vediamo se magari c'è tipo qualcosa, come sempre, dietro... Allora, abbiamo qui questo qua, che è quello che
It certainly is a flyer for Mr. Windybank's shop.
Let's see. Windybank wants you. Pawnbrokery assistance required. It's an eye-catching advertisement, that's for sure.
I've seen it in the same flyer up here inside the shop, I think. Perhaps Mr. Windybank is always in need for more stuff.
So Mr. Benedict came here to apply for a job? Ciao Ganzo! That's just too hard to believe. Cos'è che è? Allora, the staff requirement trial. Ok, quindi non era quello. Quindi è per forza questo. That's a proper English and gentleman's cane, isn't it? Look at the beautifully polished brass on the handle. Yes, but Mr. Shomps is right. It's not the sort of handle you usually see on a cane. Perhaps it's the latest London fashion. I mean, that's just guesswork, of course. Perhaps you could adopt a cane, Mr. Naruhodo. It might rather suit you. Have a feeling that I might argue with a shovel around in my waist. Quindi non è né il cane né questo. Allora vorrei riuscire a vedere qua. Ah, il bello della diretta, se così si può dire. Good. Could you hope to carry off something bright? But though, I think you'd look by very fletching. Ma non si può tipo... Allora, was brought... Fermi tutti. Ok, quindi dovrebbe andare? Non lo so. Qua ci fa analizzare altro. Look at the scribbled notes on the back of the flyer here. Ok, sì, sta andando. Buono. I don't believe it. What is it? Listen to what it says. Name Gina Lestrade. Height 5'2". Green cap, scruffy waistcoat, grubby white shirt, blue scratched, ragged. It's a detailed description of Miss Lestrade. Goodness! There is even a sketch for her, hat and all. I'll do it if it... Aspettate, fatemi aprire la finestra perché bisogna far passare un po' l'aria, anche se il tempo non è dei migliori proprio per nulla. Mamma mia. Ok. Although if it showed it to her, she'd fire that smoke grenade launcher in this face for sure. And look, the details of the shop have been written down here too. Wendy Bank Shop, Pawnbrokery, Baker Street. Redemption deadline, 5th April. Which is today's date. Why would Mr. Benedict have all that information scrawled in the back of the piece of paper? Vabbè. E si va a rimettergliene. Ole. What is the info about Miss Lestrade? Yes. What brought you in this shop is yes. What brought you to this shop in the first place is the info about Miss Lestrade. Quite so, my dear fellow. It would appear that the writing and the sketch on the reverse of the flyer pertain to the pickpocket Miss Lestrade and to Mr. Windybank Pawnbrokery here. He originally told us that you had merely given chase after Miss Lestrade stole redemption a ticket from you. But that's it's a tinily vital to lie. It is the information on the back of the flyer that led you here today. By which I mean here to Wendy Bank Pawnbrokery, and today the redemption deadline of that overcoat. So, you waited outside for the young girl matching the description you have written down to arrive. Huh? And you have gone to some lengths to hide the reason to proceed of Ho sbagliato voce, vabbè, può capitare. In other words, there is some ulterior motive for your actions. The cane, which you unwittingly clutch to your person, exhibits an unconvertible contradiction. By utter rot, I've had the skin for years. The contradiction of which I speak is, of course, the missing ferrule. What's a ferrule? It's the metal cap commonly found on the end of a cane, Mr. Naruhodo. The bit that makes the nice clucking sound of the pavement? Yes, exactly. And Mr. Sholmes is right. It appears to be missing on this cane. But it doesn't actually look broken, doesn't it? No, it doesn't. Though the gentleman certainly did recoil it when Mr. Sholmes identified the cane as suspicious. In other words, there is some secret about the cane that Mr. Benedict would rather we don't know. Let's vediamo un po'. Look here, Mrs. Sato. There are some letters on the handle. Ah yes, this must be initials, I think. In the West, it's customary for people to engarb their belonging with the first letters of their names. So Sherlock Holmes would be HS, you mean? Vabbè, you mean? That's right. And the initials of this cane obviously... Oh. AG? Why does this feel as though that's not quite right? Ah no, ok, fa riprendere solo le iniziali, ho capito. Mentre invece lui dice questo. The end of this cane is just bare wood. Yes, and according to Mr. Sholmes' deduction, this is where the shovel blade would have been attached. Couldn't it just be that the tip fell off? I'm sorry, Mr. Naruhodo, but I couldn't possibly speculate. E si va a rimertargliene. The contradiction is there. Initialing. The contradiction of which I speak is, of course, the initialing. A most astute observation, wouldn't you say, Mr. Eggert Benedict? We are led to believe, sir, that the initials are EB. Yet in a most possessive manner, you have your grasp cane with the bearing the initials AG. An unconvertible contradiction indeed. Would you not agree? No, you're wrong. This cane isn't. You said before that you had kid the cane for years. So don't try to tell us that you just borrowed it from a friend or found it in the park. In short, though you hold yourself to be a gentleman, you have withheld your true name. You recoil, sir. Is something wrong? And you're recalling you inadvertently facilitate the answer for the next conjurum to present itself. Namely, what is the truth behind this rod you bear? Yes, her reaction betrays the truth. The handle which you would like to conceal is the key to understand vabbè. Let's consider the bare bones of what's happened here. Miss Lestrade redeemed that fine-looking overcoat, and how mysterious man appeared, introducing himself with a fake name and claiming the overcoat belongs to him. But we know that he actually identified Miss Lestrade from a written description, which suggests that everything else is told is untrue. So, what we need to do here is somehow prove that the overcoat cannot possibly belong to him. Allora, io ho sentito tipo uno strappo, quindi... visto che alla fine c'era davvero lo strappo. Allora, intanto facciamo il handle, che è quello di Sholmes. It is a rather strange handle for sure. Yes, certainly unusual for a gentleman's cane. You expect to see such a cane being throttled chargeably by its owner as he skips merrily down the street. You do? Oh, something that just occurred to me. I have a shovel back in our office, don't we? Yes, you're right, and its handle is actually the same shape as this cane's. Here we go. Now I'm starting to wonder if it's not actually a cane at all, but a spade. Mr. Shop's deduction. Sì, spade, shovel, quella roba lì. Are curiously compelling, aren't they? Allora, è palesemente questo, però... Oh! The seam on the shoulder. There is something apart, look. So it is. Do you know, a moment ago when Mr. Benedict was surprised by something was said, I thought he heard him make a rather strange noise, sound like a tiny growl. But now I think that it was possibly the sound of the seam ripping open. If you look closely, it does seem a very tight fit. The sleeves are stretched to bursting, and you wouldn't have a hope festering at the front. If he were around to run around it, I'm sure the whole thing would fall apart. That's that I'd like to see. Sorry? So, how we can make Mr. Benedict run around? She's really giving this some thought.
Take that!
The split seam? Ole! The split seam, which evidently would like to conceal, is the key to understanding this riddle, you see. Yes, because the overcoat is rather obviously a perfect. Having forced it over your broad shoulders, the seam already breaking apart. My suspicions were aroused from the outset. When you so badly lied about your name and so boldly waylaid this pickpocket. This catalogue of truths has all been for one very specific purpose. To steal the article that the young girl redeemed from Mr. Wendybank. Arg. But really irks me this considerable crime I initially imagined has been considerably curtailed. E questo è risolto. Passiamo al secondo. Via. Now, Mr. Benedict, let us continue. For we must expose the details of this elaborated crime you have been planning. This is utterly absurd. You suggest that I, a gentleman, had designed to waste to publish some lingerie article of pawnage? Have you forgotten that I redeemed the article from the proper manner using the watchword? Had I not been the one to deposit the name in the first place? How could I possibly have known the relevant details? In suppose, vabbè, non so in francese. Oh, but the watchword can be discovered. As you are well too aware, Mr. Benedict. And your furtive glance is more telling than I could have hoped. What? Let us consider how one might to come to learn a secret watchword relating to the pawned property of another. The method is revealed by the council notice. The deduction of the direction of the deduction must change rather dramatically now, I think. Yes, no more talk of tunneling into sewers. Which a pity, because all sounded exciting, rather exciting. Anyway, you can deny that this is a mysterious gentleman had the watchword. Yes, Professor. If you didn't know that word, Mr. Windybank would never allow you to redeem the article. Or looking at it another way. If you didn't know that word, Mr. Windybank would allow you to redeem the article, whether it's yours or not. So the question is, could this gentleman have found the watchword out somehow? Allora, quante cose, mamma mia. Abbiamo il notelet, council note. E basta in sostanza, queste 4 cose. Allora, partiamo subito con... la foto non è. Qui sono queste 3 cose. Questo... Quindi non è council note. Baker Street Works is the title. Yes, it does mention the sewerage works as Mr. Sholmes. Oh, and specifically mentions that tonight's sale at the commissioner's shop on the corner won't be affected. Case solving first. Confectionery later, Mr. Naruhodo. Curse my overly expressive face. C'è anche la old lamp. E qua? This looks to be a quite old lamp, but it's obviously been well looked after. And there's oil in it too. In other words, it's still in use. Yes, it would appear so. But as far as how it could be related to Mr. Benedict knowing the watchword on the porn article, I have no idea. That makes 2 of us. Perfetto, quindi non ha senso. Prendiamo la revolver. This is Mr. Windybank's gun. Yes, loaded with one only bullet, he said. It would appear to be... a pawnbroker is a very life or death profession. That might just be a particular establishment. Dai, ma non ci sta che ci siano solo queste cose. Questo in non credo che abbia davvero la scritta professor. Look at this, Mr. Sato. Ah, it appears to be a memo that Mr. Windybank has scribbled himself. Let's see, what does it say? Oh, Professor. Mr. Windybank must make a note of the watchwords his customer gave to him right before their eyes. And alarmingly clear script as well. Oh dear, I don't know where to look. Who knows what other secrets I might see? Vabbè, questo. Ole, via. The method is revealed by a notelet on the counter to which your eyes were inadvertently drawn. Yes, the broker here follows the same procedure whenever a customer comes to redeem an article. He asks the customer for the watchword and notes down the response uttered on a notelet he has to hand. Then the consults its ledger and confirms whether or not the watchword matches that of the article in question. I would expect nothing less for a diligent pawnbroker. But his decency clearly has its disadvantages. What are you talking about? It is increasingly apparent that you were present in this shop before accusation against Miss Landstrait. Bellissimo questo punto di vista, è fantastico. In all likelihood, you were followed her inside and then observed her talking to Mr. Windybank. When the diligent broker made a note of the watchword, as it has his common practice, he observed him writing the word professor on the notelet beside the ledger. And that, sir, was the master plan you were designed to steal the pawned article from the young Miss Lestrade. Mr. Plan? Which brings us to the last final chapter of this lurid scheme. Why would you go such lengths to redeem that particular article from his pawnbroker? Are you quite serious? For an ill-feeling overcoat hardly seems to justify the effort, much less than a worthless music box disc. But naturally, you had a very good reason to make them. Yours, didn't you, Mr. Benedict? I have no idea of what you're talking about. Allow me to present a rather interesting piece of evidence. You see, the picture of this postcard tells us all we need to know. The articles we're talking about are overcoat and the music box disc that was in the one in of the pickpockets, which, according to Mr. Windybank, isn't even worth a penny. And yet, this man went to such lengths to steal them. Why? I wonder if perhaps... We already have the evidence and we need to explain it, Mr. Naruhodo. Could we, really? I'd better have a thorough look to look through the evidence we've collected so far.
Take that!
You see, this music box disc tells us all we need to know. Wait, what's that on the back? Here it reads for McGilded. Oh. Mr. Magnus McGilded, the unfortunate philanthropist who perished in curious circumstances at the Old Bailey 2 months ago. A prominent man in London, though his long mountaineering demonstrating cause. So, you're, as you say, in necessity of his, aren't you? Or perhaps a subordinate? Mr. McGilded was a man of unusually small stature. In fact, he was precisely the right side of the overcoat you've squeezed yourself into. Your true identity remains shrouded in a mystery, Mr. Eggert Benedict. But the final conclusion here is crystal clear. The reasons you came to this pawnbrokery today was to retrieve the article left behind the late Magnus McGilded. No. Olle. Elementary. Che figata. Well, Mr. Magnus McGilded. Not the name I expected to hear in the circumstances. Mr. Sholmes, I'm afraid that's something very troubling on my mind. Pray tell, Mrs. Sato. Well, according to what Mr. Benjamin told us earlier, today was the final day which the code could have been redeemed, was it not?
Yes, madam, that's correct. Today would be precisely 2 months since it was first deposited.
Well, today is the 5th of April, so 2 months ago today.
Would have been the 15th February, sir, that's right.
It's carefully recorded on my ledger. Deposited at 10:30 p.m., I see. What? But that suggests... Yes. No! It's precisely esatto on which the omnibus murder took place. Lo dice lui. Took place. And 10:30 in the evening. It's precisely the time where the terrible events were unfolding. Suggestive is not a word. It would seem the matter is entirely beyond the coincidence. You are the cursed of a liberty to make whatever outlandish deductions you choose. However, I must insist to hand over the music box disc now. No ragazzi, volevo troppo farlo questo cambio di voce, era una roba che volevo fare sin dall'inizio, quindi GG. It would be a terrible shame for you to return to your native land in a box. What do I do? There are some things I must protect at all costs. This may be one of those things. Then again, it may not. Oh wait! Mr. Wendybank!
This is my shop. I can't allow to harm to come to my customers. If that were to happen, it should have to take my own life. Mr. Wendybank, no! Alright, that's enough. Ah, Inspector Gregson. Inspector? That's right, Sunshine. The alarm was raised on what? Aspetta, me lo posso fare lui, Gregson. That's right, Sunshine.